We got Mike McGrackneff. Hold on. We got Mike McGranagan.
I knew we were going to screw up names, but I didn't know it was going to be on the reviewers on
Hold on.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Mike McGranagan. Mike McGranagan. Okay, it's not too complex. Mike
MacGuffin Guild.
Mike McGruffin Guild. Mike McGranagan from Aisle Seat. I'm sorry, Mike. Oh, my God. On this episode of the MacGuffin Guild, we're gonna bring some questionable cargo back to our mining base in the depths of the ocean in Leviathan. This 1989 body horror sci-fi thriller was directed by George P. Cosmatos and stars Peter Weller, Richard Crenna, Daniel Stern, Hector Elizondo, Meg Foster, and Ernie Hudson as the arguably cooler Justin Jones. We're gonna talk some turkey, drink some seawater, and explore whether or not this film is a ripoff. We'll discuss Stan Winston Studios, Robo's Oreos, and witness an editor's worst nightmare. We'll get into other underwater films, blackberry brandy backwash, tube worms, and discuss finding the joy in Caligula. I'm Pat Dougherty, and as always, I'll be joined by my fellow MacGuffins, Justin Jones and Mike Antonio. Our theme song was written and performed by Jordan Vincent. Now cue the happy music, and let's take a deep dive into Leviathan.
I raised you better than this.
And welcome to another episode of the MacGuffin Guild. As you all know, a MacGuffin is a plot device used to drive along a story, and we here on the Guild like to use a film as a MacGuffin to drive along our conversations. I am Pat Dougherty, and as always, I am joined by my fellow MacGuffins. First, Mr. Justin Jones. How you doing, Justin?
Hey, what's up, man? Let's talk turkey.
Talk turkey?
Yeah, man. You never heard talk turkey before?
It was from the movie. It's in the movie. Justin Jones in the movie says, "Nah, it's talking turkey." I finally say something.
Does he?
Yeah.
That is like an old timey expression, though. Let's talk turkey. Yeah. I have no idea what it means.
I didn't even think of Ernie Hudson saying it. My bad.
Let's see what it means.
Well, probably just talking.
It's like
let's small talk. I don't know.
Yeah, like
chit chat.
That makes sense.
I don't know. Find out. What's talking turkey mean?
Discuss something frankly and straightforwardly.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
All right, well, we're going to do some turkey talking tonight then.
We're not going to do that. We're going to be looping all around and...
Yeah.
Anyway, well...
We're off to a great start.
I look forward to talking turkey, Justin. Justin Jones, this the second most important Justin Jones of this episode.
Possibly the third. We haven't been through the whole episode yet.
Also with us is Mike Antonio. Mike, how's it going?
Pretty good, Pat. That's all I got. I'm not going to ask you how you are this week. I don't give a shit.
All right. Well, you're not the only one. So anyway,
jeez.
let's get into the film, shall we? So on this particular episode, we are actually covering the 1989 body horror sci-fi thriller Leviathan. And I guess wait a minute.
You okay?
I am okay. Justin,
you need a reboot there, Mitch?
No. We're good. Listen, I was going to ask you, Justin, because usually around the beginning of the episode, we'll slide into the drinking with JJ phase of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
But for whatever reason, because typically you try to find themed drinks, and my mind said.
Justin's drinking seawater this week.
Exactly. That's exactly what my mind was saying that he was going to respond with. So I was trying to beat you to the punch.
Oh, yeah.
So
Well, good job. You nailed it.
Were you planning on saying seawater?
Yeah.
Were
Sure.
you?
No.
No, he wasn't.
I'm
Anyway.
drinking Dogfish Head Sea Quench.
Oh, are you? No,
No, I'm
you're
actually
not.
just drinking a Coke Zero.
Well, I wish I could say that there's any water in that, but I doubt there is.
Yeah, I know.
Dump some salt in it. Call it a day.
Man, that's not a bad idea.
So, Mike, what are you drinking? Anything?
No, I'm just drinking water.
All right.
I'm
Seawater?
I'm laying low. I'm laying low this week.
Did you say seawater?
Yeah.
I mean, look, Justin, I'm not as good at the joke thing as you are, so you'll have to forgive me. Is that a lower tier joke?
Wait a minute. That's a lie, Pat. Eggs is like electricity,
Yeah.
and potato eyes
But they're not jokes.
are some of the. I know.
Yeah, I think those are life philosophies.
Yeah, exactly. That shit is deep inside me. Oh my god. Anyway, I guess we should try to get back on track here. So this film,
Right.
Nah.
again, Leviathan, 1989, 1 hour, 38 minutes long. Directed by George P. Cosmatos. And he's also known for, Mike?
I always forget that. Tombstone.
Yeah.
Well,
Allegedly.
it's so funny. That would have been the last one.
Part of
Yeah,
Tombstone.
that would have been the last one I said.
Rambo 2.
Yeah. Rambo, well, yeah, Rambo First Blood Part 2.
First Blood Part 2, yeah.
Cobra. And then
Oh, yeah, Cobra.
the interesting thing about Tombstone, which it sounds like you guys already know, is the
the debate.
The
much
debate,
like the
yeah.
Poltergeist debate.
yeah. So I feel like, did we talk about the Tombstone thing before on the MacGuffin Guild at some point? I don't recall.
We may have.
I feel like we've talked about it. Now, whether we've had that in one of our recorded episodes or not, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I know we have talked about it.
All right.
We may have in the Mandy episode
Oh, which never aired.
because of the connection. Yeah.
I see.
Oh,
I bet you're right. That's
That's an unreleased episode.
It is, yeah. So
Oh, we didn't really?
no, that was
No.
yeah, we recorded that before Slaughter High, and Slaughter High ended up being the first release.
Crazy.
Yep. We were still finding ourselves.
Yeah.
We're still searching, by the way. But
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
We
Some
haven't.
say
We
so,
have not
yeah.
found ourselves yet. Oh,
All right.
sorry, I burped.
Jesus Christ, Mike.
What'd I do?
Did you burp?
Yeah. Is that all right?
I'm just saying. We're talking about how we're trying to find ourselves, and you can't even hold in a burp. It just goes right into the microphone. True professionals, I tell you. So anyway,
No, we're not.
for the listeners and viewers who don't know what we're talking about with the George P. Cosmatos Tombstone situation. So originally on Tombstone, the original director apparently was a guy named Kevin Jarre, or Jarre, Jarre. I'm not sure how he says his name.
Yes. Yeah.
So he was the original
course,
director. I know. And apparently he was let go. Cosmatos
Yes.
was brought in. But there are reports that state that Cosmatos was actually a ghost director for Kurt Russell, the real director.
Right.
Kurt Russell apparently has sworn to secrecy to an unknown individual who is believed to be Cosmatos. And Russell once said, "I will say this, if I had not been around, Tombstone wouldn't have either." So that's Kurt Russell. So even though he hasn't really hinted at anything more than that, he's never come out and
Yeah.
said that he directed it. Again, it's out of respect for a sworn promise, but,
Yeah.
you know, so who knows?
Who? Cosmatos is actually he died, right? He did die, right?
He passed away in 2005, lung cancer.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, like I mentioned briefly, that's kind of like the whole poltergeist thing. You know, Toby Hooper
Yeah, exactly.
directed it, but people say that Spielberg directed it, but Mick Garris has come out and said, I visited the set. Tobe Hooper directed that movie.
Yeah. So he is the father. So George P. Cosmatos is the father of Panos. Panos? How does he say his name?
I think it's Panos.
Panos.
Yeah.
Panos Cosmatos.
They're Greek, right? We're terrible with Greek names.
Yeah.
See our Zero Boys episode.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was a rough one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and Panos Cosmatos, he directed Beyond the Black Rainbow 2010, Mandy 2018. But anyway, so we're here today to talk about Leviathan. But first, a spoiler-ravaged synopsis. A mining crew run by Stephen Beck, played by Peter Weller, is ahead of schedule in their underwater mining until one of their group named Buzz Sixpack Parrish, played by Daniel Stern, discovers a wrecked ship called the Leviathan. He brings back a safe he found on board for the crew to loot, but he pockets a flask for himself. The ship's doctor, Dr. Glenn Thompson, played by Richard Crenna, discovers a series of files marked deceased amongst the findings, as well as a videotape that shows that something bad happened on the ship. The crew of the mining base must then fight to survive against a genetic mutation that hunts them down one by one in Leviathan. All right, so starring Peter Weller as Stephen Beck. So Peter Weller, we all know who Peter Weller is, clearly. He has 91 acting credits, including, anybody want to guess?
RoboCop.
Yeah, what else?
But that's the one everybody goes to, but my number one would be Buckaroo Banzai.
I know. I knew you were going to say that. Yep.
We're going to do that one day.
You know what? And I'm going to save myself for that episode because I still have not seen that movie.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Oh, interesting.
I've seen chunks of it over the years, but I have never seen that movie straight
I'll
through.
give you one spoiler about that movie.
No, why?
No, I'm not, it's just a mess of a movie.
Yeah, I'm sure. But the cast is
It
amazing,
is.
right?
The cast is amazing, and I love the movie. I love the movie. It's exactly what it was intended to be. It was supposed to be the way it is.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that when we actually do it down the road. We're definitely going to do that. That's on my list.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll hold off on watching it then.
RoboCop's actually my second favorite Peter Weller thing he's done.
What's yours?
What's your first?
My new first one is that clip of I forget the guy's name. It was one of the set guys on RoboCop.
The Oreos.
With the Oreos. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. All right. Well, do you want to watch the clip real quick?
Oh yeah, we can do that.
Here it is.
When we were in Monessen, Pennsylvania shooting the steel mill, Peter's upstairs. We were up 2 or 3 floors. You had to go upstairs to get to him. We had an explosion behind him. We make the explosion hot. We're ready to go. I went upstairs and I was carrying, I don't know, about 8 Oreos in a stack. I'd hand him his weapon. I'd say, Peter, safety's off. And he wouldn't take the pistol. And he says, Robo wants an Oreo. And I looked at him and go, no. It's just you and I, Peter. Robo doesn't get an Oreo. If Peter wants an Oreo, Peter can have an Oreo. And he clip-clops in the suit over to the edge of the railing, and Peter starts bellowing, Robo wants an Oreo. And when the steel mill just echoes, Randy has Oreos, or Robo wants an Oreo. And Steve Lim over the radio goes, Randy, do you have Oreos? So I stuffed that whole stack in my mouth, and then crunched them and let them fall down 3 stories onto everybody below me. And not anymore. And Robo got upset.
I haven't got a damn clue about Randy Moore and his fucking Oreos.
Oh god, that's so funny.
The very end, I haven't got a clue about Randy whatever and his
Moore.
fucking Oreos.
Yeah.
I've never, ever seen that before. That is awesome.
Anyway, yeah, so that's a funny moment between Peter Weller and weapons master Randy Moore. So that's good shit. All right, so anyway, so a little bit more about Peter Weller. He seems like a really smart dude.
He's like he's one of those what you would call a Renaissance man.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
He is.
Yeah, so I guess it started, he received his Bachelor of Arts degree in theater from North Texas State University in 1969. Then he received his PhD in Italian Renaissance art history and Roman history from the University of California, Los Angeles. That was in 2014, so this dude still going to school how many years later? He had previously received his Master of Arts degree in the same subjects. He teaches a literature and fine arts class at Syracuse University and is one of Syracuse's most popular professors. I wonder why. He can be seen in his capacity as an expert on a History Channel documentary on the Roman era. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. I knew about that,
Yeah. He turned down a role in King Kong Lives 1986. I don't even remember that movie if it ever came out, but he turned that down to play the lead role in RoboCop. I'd say that turned out well for him.
Yeah.
And despite...
I'd say that turned out weller for him.
Oh, jeez.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That was good. I always wondered about this. Despite his vocal criticisms about the downhill direction of the franchise, as well as his physical discomfort wearing the suit, Weller admitted that he was willing to reprise the role of RoboCop in RoboCop 3 for the fans. However, he was already committed to doing Naked Lunch 1991, so he had to pass. I thought that I didn't know it was a commitment issue that took him out of that role. It's cool to hear that.
I didn't either.
It's cool to hear that he would have done it for the fans.
I thought it was more of a case that he saw the script and was like, I'm not doing this garbage.
That's what I always thought. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think
seriously.
I've seen the third one.
Or a case of like they were trying to lowball him on his pay because
Yeah.
that movie clearly has a low budget.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Peter
That movie
Weller
sucks.
Peter Weller obviously is the main star, but we also have Richard Crenna as Dr. Glenn Doc Thompson, and obviously
I
there's
forgot what movie we were talking about. I was like, wait, Richard Crenna's in RoboCop 3?
He's not in RoboCop 3, but he's in Rambo 3, just as he's in First Blood and Rambo First Blood Part 2. He's also in Hot Shots Part 2. And,
Yes, he is.
And he's also in Carl Reiner's 1985 Summer School with John Candy.
Oh. I don't remember him in that.
He's in that one. And he's been in a shit ton of stuff. Yeah, he was in Summer Rental.
Summer Rental.
Yeah, what did I say?
Summer
I thought you
Rental.
said Summer
Yeah.
School.
Oh, did I say Summer
Did
School?
you say Summer Rental?
I don't know.
I don't.
said Summer
or,
School.
Or did I?
I said Summer School. I said the wrong thing?
I think you did.
Oh, okay.
I think
All right.
I think you did.
All right.
I knew what you were talking about,
Let me-
but I think you said the wrong thing.
Let me correct the sentence so I can fix it. You ready? I'm going to start that.
Fuck it, leave it in.
No, I'm going to start that line over again. You ready?
Yeah.
He's also
Okay.
he's also in Carl Reiner's 1985 classic Summer Rental with John Candy.
I believe, Pat, you mean summer school.
Stop it, man. Stop doing that. God damn it. Now I have to keep this whole fucking thing in there. Oh, no. You're an editor's worst nightmare.
Oh, I'm gonna take off my shirt. Then everybody's gonna be really like, why is he all of a sudden not wearing a shirt? Yeah. Now I'm an editor's nightmare. Yeah.
Shit. It's just gonna puff away. Your sleeves, your arms just appear. Your white pasty arms just appear. Oh my god.
It just got way brighter in that room, Justin.
It did. I'm gonna add a poof sound when that happens. Oh shit.
Make like a
Pair of
jump
glowing
cut.
arms.
So Richard Crenna has 120 acting credits. It was I tried to comb through it, and those were some of the big ones I've already mentioned that at least we would be familiar with.
Yeah.
But his very first credited role was in 1952, an episode of I Love Lucy. So the man's been around the block.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
All right. Proceeding on, we got Amanda Pays, who played Elizabeth Willie Williams. She has 42 acting credits. The biggest one that I thought was intriguing. Do you guys know this? You know what she was in the 80s?
I've seen her before, but I don't know what else.
She was in Max Headroom.
Yeah.
The show?
Both. She was in the movie
Or
and the series.
She was in both. Okay.
In fact,
Holy shit.
I found the clip on YouTube because I hadn't seen the beginning of the Max Headroom movie in years. And I have I can remember it as a kid seeing that, what do you call it? The parking garage. What the hell you call those things? The arm. That comes
where they collides into the
the one that actually says Max
arm.
Headroom on it. But
Right.
what
Right.
I didn't realize, because I clearly remembered that scene. I mean, that's how Max Headroom became Max Headroom. But what I didn't realize is that actress was one of the characters in that moment. In the scene where Matt Frewer is on his motorcycle blasting through this parking garage or whatever, there's two characters on computers that are trying to make the parking garage gate go up and down. She's trying to make the arm go up because she's a friend of this Max character. Well, I don't think his name was Max at that point, but she's a friend of this character. The other guy, the villain, was trying to make the arm go down. Thus, the villain won. Max Headroom hit the thing. The rest is history. But that the female friend character was played by Amanda Pays from this movie. I didn't realize that. So you could say...
I didn't know
had
that
no
either.
idea.
You could say that her failure led to the creation of Max Headroom. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
anyway. Next, we have Daniel Stern.
Way to let your friend die, Amanda Paines, or what? Is that her
Amanda-
name, Amanda Paines?
Pays, P-A-Y-S. Daniel Stern as Buzz Sixpack Parrish. He's got 78 acting credits, including, anyone want to guess?
Home Alone.
Yeah, there we go.
Chud.
1 and 2.
Yeah, we got Home Alone 1 and 2. We got, you said Chud.
One
Yeah,
of my
Bushwhacked.
favorite roles of his in Very Bad Things.
Very Bad Things. Got,
Oh, yeah.
Got that on my list. We got,
He's great in there.
here's one of my favorites from the 80s. Little Monsters. That's a good one.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I saw Bushwhacked
Right.
in the theater.
What'd you see in the theater?
Bushwhacked.
Oh,
it was
did
a
you?
movie he was in.
Did you? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
don't know
mean,
that
it was
one.
weird because I was hanging out with. I don't know. I don't want to say people's names on here, but I was hanging out with like some older people we know, like older friends that I kind of only hung out with like a couple times. Like there were people like in our community of people that we knew, and like I was just like riding around with them, and like we just ended up going to movies, and we all sat there, or like a bunch of metalheads all dressed in like just like sitting there watching Bushwhacked.
Bushwhacked.
Yeah.
God. Oh shit. Yeah, it's like the vampires from the Lost Boys going to see Bushwhacked in the theater.
Yeah.
So he did City Slickers in 91. He did Rookie of the Year in 93. He was in My Blue Heaven in 90. And he did 114 episodes of The Wonder Years
Yeah.
as the narrator, right?
Oh,
He's the voice.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I always forget that.
Yeah. So he's done a shit ton.
Yeah.
But to be honest, and we can get more into it later, my first introduction to Daniel Stern was through this movie, Leviathan. In fact, when...
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. When Home Alone came out, I knew him from Leviathan. I mean, I was young as shit. I was, 9?
yeah.
10? I was 10 when Home Alone
Yeah.
came out. But I saw this movie, I clearly saw... I must have seen it before Home Alone because I knew who he was. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's one thing That's one thing I love about the 80s and the early 90s is that it wasn't uncommon for you to see a guy that was in basically a family movie, but that wasn't the first thing you saw him in. You saw him in another movie where he was sexually harassing people, had a titty mug, and was getting ready to jerk off before he was interrupted. That was the first movie you saw him in.
Yep.
And then you watch this family movie, and you're like, oh, I know that guy.
It's funny you mentioned the titty mug. I real quick, I'm just gonna say one of my favorite lines he says. It's at the beginning of the movie when they're all out in the water doing whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
And he's something like to the one girl, "Would you trip on a tit or something?"
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because she's like,
It's so
dragging behind
ridiculous.
him.
Yeah.
All right, so
my
we'll
God.
let's zip through the rest of this cast here really quickly. So we got Hector Elizondo as GP Cobb. He's got 161 acting credits. He's been around the block. That includes Pretty Woman in 90, Runaway Bride 99, Overboard 1987, Necessary Roughness 91. There Goes the Neighborhood. I don't know. I've talked about this before, I think on the podcast. There Goes the Neighborhood. Have you guys seen that?
Mm-mm.
I love that movie. I got to dig that up
No.
again. He was in that, and you know who else was in that? I forget. Jonathan Banks. Jonathan Banks, who played Mike Ehrmantraut from the Breaking Bad franchise. Anybody
I've never
anybody who's watched Breaking
Haven't watched
Bad
it.
knows exactly who Mike is, and they fucking love him. And the dude is the bomb. But I saw him in There Goes the Neighborhood years ago. It came out in '92. So that was my first experience with that actor.
There Goes Neighborhood. I thought it was like it had something to do with. Wasn't there a rap album or something or a rap song?
It's
Mike?
Body Count. Ice-T's metal band. There's a song called "There Goes the Neighborhood."
Oh.
That's
what
what
I
it is.
think of.
That's what I'm thinking
That's
of.
what I think
Yeah.
of from the first album. Yeah,
I gotcha.
yeah.
That album's pretty good.
Yeah.
I love that album.
Yeah.
Hector Elizondo was also in Beverly Hills Cop 3. So,
Okay.
Oh yes, he
So
was.
was
Yes.
yep. So
Lisa Elbacher, is that her name? She was in the Lethal Weapon movies, right? Or no? She was in Beverly Hills Cop. What the hell are we
Yeah.
talking about? God damn, I'm turning the mic. I don't even know what movie we're talking about.
Wait, who? Who's this person you're talking about?
Lisa, Justin,
The woman who's in Home Alone.
Justin's jumping
Is
ahead.
Justin jumping ahead?
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Lisa Albacher as Bridget Bowman. She's got 55 acting credits. She was in Beverly Hills Cop, the first one. So both of them were in the franchise, but not in the same movie.
Oh, that's what else I know her from. Okay.
And she was also in An Officer and a Gentleman, 10 to Midnight, which is a Charles Bronson flick.
I've seen that.
Yeah, I think those are her biggest roles. And Leviathan, obviously.
Wow. I'll make a confession. I've never seen Officer and a Gentleman.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have, but
don't-
I have not.
I don't think I have.
I've seen it.
You've seen it? No.
You have, Justin?
I feel like I watched it. I don't know, in the last 5 or 10 years. I think.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
All right, so I got 3 more names to go through. We got Meg Foster as Miss Martin. She's got 125
That's right.
acting credits and an amazing set of eyeballs.
Evelyn herself?
Yes!
Yeah, she does have a great set of eyeballs.
Evil Lynn in Masters of the Universe, 1987. She was in They Live.
I actually got to meet her.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, at
Nice.
Monster Mania. Yep.
Cool. Yeah, so she was in They Live, 1988. She was in Jeepers Creepers 3 in 2017. And she was in one of your favorites, Mike.
Lords of Salem?
Lords of Salem. There it is.
Is that what you were going to say, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I knew
she's
that. I knew
totally
that you
in
would know that one. So
Okay.
I wanted to give you the stage.
From your pause, I was like, did I say the right one, or was he thinking of something else?
No, that was right. All right, so 2 more actors, and again, I'm doing them a little out of order, so you might be wondering why I didn't mention somebody. So I'll get there. So we have Michael Carmine as Tony DeJesus Rodero, and he only has 13 acting credits, including.
And there's a reason for that.
Yeah, unfortunately. His credits included Invasion USA, which is a 1985 Chuck Norris flick.
He's in that?
Yeah. Yeah, he's in that.
I've seen that movie so many times. Dude,
Really?
you guys have to see that movie.
Really?
We're doing that sometime. Oh my god.
I think I saw it when I was a kid.
That movie is batshit.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think I had a Chuck Norris
Is that the
toy
one-
from that back in the day, but
I love that movie, but I didn't realize he was in that. I wonder... He's probably got
Is
a
Invasion
smaller
USA
role.
the one where they had that big explosion where it comes through the wall and the stuntman got like seriously injured, like almost lost his head?
I know.
I'm
I
not
know.
sh-
I know the
might
effect you're
be.
talking about, or this the.
Yeah,
I'm not
I think we
positive.
actually talked about that on here before.
Yeah, we definitely talked about that. I think what episode was that where we were talking about stuntmen that got killed? It was what was the movie where a stuntman got killed?
The Wraith.
The Wraith. That's it. We talked about it on the Wraith
Yeah.
episode,
Okay.
or at least hinted at
Yeah,
it.
dude. Oh, we're going to cover that movie. That's a Christmas movie, by the way, technically.
Oh, is it? Cool.
Yeah, it takes place at
The Wraith?
Christmas, yeah. No,
Okay.
Invasion
No.
USA.
I was
okay.
no. You know it's a Christmas movie, Justin. Lethal Weapon.
Oh, you're right. It is. Holy shit! It all
is.
comes back around.
It totally is.
It's not that we don't know what we're talking about. We just we see beyond space and time as one body of things, and we're just like living in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, we're a hive mind.
Yeah.
We weave in
hive
and out
mind,
of
yeah.
space and time.
Yep.
Exactly.
So Michael Carmine was also in Batteries Not Included, 1987, which is a
Yes,
great,
he
a great
was.
film. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
I love that movie.
So Michael's last film was called Longtime Companion in 1989. It came out right after Leviathan. But unfortunately, Michael Carmine passed away in October, on October 14th, 1989 in New York, New York, due to a heart attack from AIDS complications.
Yep.
So again, another one of those shitty conversations, depressing as shit, but a MacGuffin Guild's honor to Michael Carmine for having an amazing little role in this film that we're focusing on tonight. And cheers, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for giving us your art, and we appreciate it. So, very sad stuff.
Yeah.
True. But, so yeah, he was freaking great. And you're right, Mike. That's how I looked into it too, because I'm like, what? Or was it Justin? I forget who said it. Why haven't I seen this guy more? He was fucking great. And then, I looked it
Justin
up.
said that.
Oh, okay, Justin.
Yeah.
Sorry to take your thunder and give it to Mike. So,
I'll survive.
yeah. But yeah, that's sad stuff. But he's awesome in this, and he will live on through his art. And finally, we have Ernie Hudson as Justin Jones. You could argue as the cooler Justin Jones of any Justin Jones.
I think, look,
He is the much cooler Justin Jones. Yeah.
I mean, if I were to cast someone to play Justin, I immediately would go to Ernie Hudson.
Ernie Hudson's probably spot on. It was funny as I was watching it, and I was thinking about if I was in that situation, trapped down there with all the shit that was going on, I think I would have been the Justin Jones of that.
Yeah.
Because he was kind of like not really respectful very much to like at the beginning he was just fed up with shit, and he took it out on his superior.
Yeah.
Whether
he was
it was
calling him
justified
out
or
on
not.
stuff.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, and he constantly give him a hard time. He's like, oh yeah, I guess this is another thing like that. And I was like, and it was a little hard to watch. I was like, that's kind of me.
Yeah.
I actually in my notes, since we're talking about who we relate to, I put in my notes that Daniel Stern's character is my inner monologue.
I can see that.
Yeah.
The things he says out loud are the things in my head.
You know what? I think I think it's kind of cool. So that would be you. You would be 6-pack. Justin, you would be Justin
4-pack.
Jones. Yeah, 4-pack. Justin, you would be Justin Jones. I do think I would be the Peter Weller character because he was reading that the Minute Manager book. That would totally be me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Trying to manage all these personalities and not really being that good at it. And
Yeah.
so yeah, that's who we would. So what's unbelievable to me is Ernie Hudson beats everyone else in this film in acting credits by almost 100.
Damn.
The next closest actor has almost 100 fewer than he does.
Wow.
That's crazy.
He's got 258 acting credits. So obviously includes Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 2. He was in Mike, one of your all-time favorites.
Oh, The Crow. Yeah.
The Crow, yep. He was in Airheads, 1994. Basketball Diaries, 95.
Oh,
He was in Congo, 95. He was in Mr. Magoo, Miss Congeniality. He was in Ghostbusters Afterlife and Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. And he was also in the legendary Beverly Hills Chihuahua 2 in 2011.
Oh yeah. That's gonna be one of my picks.
Please no.
Anyway. All right.
I'm like going through this list of people now. Now I can't stop thinking about who would be who and people we know.
Oh, yeah.
Like Richard Crenna would be Jesse Too Sexy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, why? What? He'd be the shady doctor?
No, he wouldn't be shady, but he's like more chill. Like, you know what I mean? He would like never loses his cool. He also, like, he wasn't actually even shady. Well, jumping ahead, I felt like he did what he did for the greater good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. It just felt like maybe if he had... well, then again, he was trying to convey the severity of some of the points that were coming up.
He was.
Yeah.
But he sort of got poo-pooed at every pass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe he's not as shady. Although... he wasn't at his station when he should have been in the very beginning. When DeJesus almost
but everything
died.
worked out. Yeah.
You know, and then he just like making crack jokes about like, oh, I got a tea time tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to be there. And then sits down and eats what looked like a birthday cake that was in the fridge. What the hell was that? Anybody catch that? What the fuck was that?
Yeah.
He like pulled one of those birthday.
Yeah. Now you mention it.
It looked like a birthday cake
Jesse
with
is
one
a
of the
real
lids.
piece of shit.
Yeah, he started off a little shady though. Like I wonder why they were building up that message. I don't know.
I think they were trying to build. I think they were trying to build that there's a certain level of. I don't want to say incompetence is probably not the right word, but there was they were trying to build this thing that he has a past and there's a reason he's there.
Okay.
That he's not the most like due diligent one. Okay. But even when he wasn't there, he everything worked out. Like what the hell is he going to do as a doctor anyways?
Yeah.
This dude's. It wasn't a medical issue. It was a technical issue.
Yeah.
You know.
True. So this film was written by David Webb Peoples, who wrote the story and screenplay. Anybody familiar with him?
I am not.
So he wrote some doozies, to be honest.
Yeah.
And
really?
as we talk about this movie, this is clearly on the lower side of his achievement scale.
Yeah.
He wrote Unforgiven, 1992. He wrote Blade Runner,
Wow,
1982. He wrote 12 Monkeys, 1995. And Soldier. Is that the one with Jean-Claude? Is that Soldier?
No.
That's
Kurt
Universal
Russell.
Soldier.
Oh,
That's
Kurt
Universal
Russell.
Soldier.
Kurt Russell,
It's
that's
Kurt-
right. I can picture it now. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he wrote those, among some other things, but those are the primary things.
Interesting.
But
Wow.
also, he was only one of the guys. The other guy that worked on the screenplay with him is Jeb Stewart, and he also had some doozies. You want to know what his doozies are?
I know that name. His name I recognize.
He wrote Die Hard, 1988, Another 48 Hours, 1990, The Fugitive, 1993, Just Cause, 1995, and Fire Down Below, 1997, just to name a few. So pretty serious chops.
Yeah, he's one of the writers on Die Hard because Stephen E. D'Souza was another writer on there.
Oh, okay.
Because he's the one I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that name. Yeah, I've seen
Okay.
him. He's the most recognizable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Do you fellas want to swing over to Rotten Tomatoes?
Let's do
Yes.
it.
Okay. So, Rotten Tomatoes. Who wants to guess what this received on the tomato meter based on 26 reviews? Who wants to go first? Mike? Justin?
Critic or...
Critic.
What do you say, Just? You want me to go
That might
first?
go
or you
first. I
Me go
saw it
first?
already by accident. I can't remember what it is, but I don't want to influence.
All right. So, Mike, you go first.
So, critic
I
review,
mean, I have the internet too. Stuff just happens.
32%.
Okay. 32. Justin, do you want to guess? Or do you know too much?
100% on the Rotten Tomato meter.
Yeah. Mike, you're almost correct. You got the correct numbers. 23%.
So, 23, Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Phew.
Yeah, so that's based on 26 critic reviews. So what do you think about the audience score? Scale of 1 to 100, what do you think?
All right, so since I highballed the critic one, I'm going to lowball the audience, and I'm going to say 32 for the audience.
Okay. Justin, what do you think?
That's what I was going to say, 32.
Okay.
I was going to say 32.
27%.
God
man.
damn.
Yeah.
This
so-
movie's that hated?
Apparently. Well, I think there's a reason for it, and we could talk about it.
Yeah, I think I know where you're going with that.
Yeah. So, in fact, I'm gonna read some. Reviews. We'll start with the positives. So keep in mind, this is a positive. This is Mike Massey from Gone with the Twins. We've had him plenty of times,
Yeah.
and he says, and he gave it a 7 out of a
We love
10. 7 out of a 10. As far as ripoffs go, this is one of the best. So, I mean, that sort of reveals where a lot of people's heads are
right.
at with this film.
And yeah.
We got
Yeah.
what's that, Justin? You got something?
Well, I don't know if it's a ripoff in the traditional sense that we think of ripoffs, because I feel like ripoffs are usually like some movie will come out and be a box office success, and then a bunch of movies come out in its wake. Where all, like, you know, we'll talk about this later too, is like all these movies, these underwater adventures, all came out the same exact year as The Abyss.
That's
which was
true.
Like the one. So, and from what I gather from what I read is there was like word of James Cameron doing an underwater kind of movie, and then people started, like, it was like happened before the success of the movie came out, that they already started working on these movies.
I personally don't know if the ripoff comparison is based on the underwater aspect. What I believe it to be based on is the body horror
Alien?
aspect and the alien aspect.
Yeah.
So you have The Thing and you have Alien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the ripoff.
That's pretty much, yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying.
So that
Yeah,
in
I
my
can
eyes,
definitely see that.
in my eyes, yeah. I mean, look,
Well, I
it's-
should have did you finish reading it, or did I cut you off halfway through?
no. What, the review?
Or was that it?
No, that was just a one sentence.
Was there
thing.
more?
No.
Okay.
Not
he
in-
needs to
not
explain
in-
himself.
not
What
in
is
this
it ripping
sample.
off? Okay.
Well, here, I can go into it. You want me to go into it? Let's see. It's obvious that Leviathan was trying to capitalize on the successes of other undersea thrillers and alien-based horror movies of the time. It's also apparent that having the creature department directly copy elements from these other projects wasn't a deterrent to continuing production. The use of flamethrowers, human betrayal, an evil corporation, and a climactic countdown to escape are also comparable notions, tacked onto the numerous existing filmic reproductions. But Stan Winston's creature designs, which contain scales, gills, and fins, as well as amusing behavioral concepts involving the mimicking of leeches, performing regeneration, sustaining periods of dormancy, and absorbing the intelligence of his victims, along with their bodies, again like John Carpenter's The Thing, are all quite entertaining, and outside of the slightly goofy ending, the rest of the movie is admirably serious. As far as ripoffs go, Leviathan is one of the best.
Okay, so it sounds like we're both right.
Yeah, it does sound like he does touch on the underwater stuff, but I certainly saw the comparisons before I read any of these reviews. To me, The Thing was like first and foremost. To me, it just felt like The Thing underwater. And then you kind of sprinkled some Alien in there, you know?
I had the exact opposite thing. Like at the beginning when they start showing that underwater set, it felt like Alien to me.
Yeah.
And then
I
as the story started unfolding, it felt like The Thing to me.
Yeah. All right.
Like the movers, like the suits remind me of the movers, the set design, the lighting, all that stuff.
All right. So we'll continue on with some positives. So Brent McKnight from The Last Thing I See, he says the cast is like the first team at the B-movie All-Star Game. I like that. Yeah. So we got Heather Wixon from Daily Dead. She says the combination of well-thought-out characters and an incredible cast to bring them all to life is a huge reason why Leviathan will always be one of my personal favorite underwater monster movies.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think the cast is part of the reason why this movie kind of endures. If it was just a bunch of no-names, people would probably have forgotten about it by now. But there's some names in it, and they put in pretty decent performances, so that elevates it a little bit. Keeps it, from getting completely lost in the shuffle.
Yeah. All right, we'll do 2 more positives, then we'll do some negatives. So we got, let's see here. We got James Roshi from Netflix. He says, okay effects, good performances, and just a little more than the FDA recommended daily minimum allowance of mindless entertainment and chills. And last one, we'll do Dustin Putman from thebluefile.com. Pulled off with a fine cast and a taut storytelling sensibility from director George P. Cosmatos, the film is worth a revisit or a first-time look, whichever the case may be. So now let's dig into some negatives.
Okay.
Here we go.
We got Mike McGrackneff. Hold on. We got Mike McGranagan.
I knew we were going to screw up names, but I didn't know it was going to be on the reviewers on
Hold on.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Mike McGranagan. Mike McGranagan. Okay, it's not too complex. Mike
MacGuffin Guild.
Mike McGruffin Guild. Mike McGranagan from Aisle Seat. I'm sorry, Mike. Oh, my God. Mike McGranagan from Aisle Seat says, there are some slow spots, and because it is so closely mirrors a horror classic, there's not a lot of originality or surprise. Now, Justin will continue to have to duke it out which horror classic he's referring to. Is it The Thing or is it Alien? We don't know because he doesn't say.
It's Christine.
Yeah, there we go. All right, we got David Nusser from Real Film Reviews. It's almost impossible to discuss Leviathan without making a reference or 3 to James Cameron's far, far superior Aliens. All right, we know where he stands.
Yeah.
Here we go. TV Guide. I remember them. They say cheesy hybrid of Alien, The Thing, and The Abyss. So yeah, The Abyss gets a little questionable because, when did The Abyss come out? But
yeah, they were probably in production at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kevin Carr.
I don't know that for a fact, but
Kevin Carr from 7M Pictures says big dumb monster movie.
That sounds like a compliment to me. That sounds like a positive.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of like that should be like a neutral one.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a big dumb monster movie. Oh, here we go.
Oh, here we
Yeah,
go.
exactly.
So this is interesting. So Ken Hankey Ken Hankey from
Oh, Mr. Hankey?
Yeah,
Yep.
Mr. Hankey again. From Mountain Express. Yep. This is interesting. He says a, quote, just say no PSA disguised as a thriller. But in his review, he also says just say no, or niet, I guess, which is Russian for no.
That's Russian for no, yeah.
PSA disguised as a thriller. And I'm assuming he's talking about them sneaking the alcohol.
Drinking alcohol?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, dude, there ain't no way I'm fucking drinking that shit off some God knows what sunken ship.
It's an open bottle. Fuck that. If it was sealed, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I might.
I don't know what they put in that.
I'd like to think that I wouldn't.
But then again, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I'd like to think I wouldn't, but like this past weekend on Friday we had band practice, and we're out in Jim's woodshed, and we have a song where in the song he says something about drinking blackberry brandy, and he's like, "Oh, we're playing that song tonight," and he like reaches in the wood, like in his wood shop, and like digs through some stuff and pulls out this old blackberry brandy. Like there's like cobwebs on it and everything. It looked like it was like a prop from Goonies or something. Like they pulled it, like it was like all dirty and nasty, and there was like, and it wasn't even like full. Like it was like a couple swallows at the bottom. So it was like everyone else who had drank from it, their spits in it. And then he's like, oh, we all have to we all have to pull off this. And I was like, nah, I don't think so.
Wait, that
and then,
pass.
That was from One-Eyed Willie's
5 seconds
personal
later,
stash.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly, yeah. The Willie Reserve. And then, yeah, we all drank it. And then that was the end of it. And that was, yeah, so.
Oh, God.
So you did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Janet Maslin from New York Times says, the latter half of the film is one long feeding frenzy guided by a familiar horror film principle. Survival of the best looking. Right?
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't think that's true. This is why.
Okay.
Yeah.
Best looking on that ship?
Yeah, I guess that's what Janet is saying.
Daniel Stern.
Yeah, but he was kind of skeevy though. You have to check him off that list because the skeevy factor alone would.
Okay.
He was a goner. And then we'll just end it on this one. Richard Harrington, and I do think there's some truth to this one. Richard Harrington from the Washington Post says, Leviathan is intermittently interesting, but it's a bad sign that the movie starts losing its punch when the monster shows up. I feel like there's some truth to that.
Yeah, the punch part, yeah.
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 Anyway, so there's our Ranger reviews. Let's dig into some taglines. What do you say?
Yeah, let's do it.
Ooh, yeah.
Taglines. All right, here we go. Aliens thrilled you. The Fly shocked you. Now experience real fear. That's one.
I mean, that's really swinging for the fences there, but
Yeah.
Now we got how long can you hold your breath? That's it. That's the end of that one.
It's not bad.
I
Third
don't know.
one.
How long's the movie?
Yeah. Third one here. We got welcome to your worst nightmare. Welcome to Leviathan.
Man,
Yeah.
those tags.
Heck,
These
he's
are
lore.
pretty lame
Yeah.
taglines.
All right.
All of them.
Ready? Here we go. Number 4. It will leave you gasping for air. I mean that.
I like that one
I mean,
best.
Yeah.
That one's better than the other ones.
Yeah.
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 All right. This one. Yeah. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think about this one. You ready? The true meaning of fear.
God,
You know what
these are
what
weak.
that one feels like to me? That one feels like someone said, "Siri, tell me a movie tagline."
yeah.
That definitely feels AI generated.
It's AI generated taglines.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
A movie so scary you will scream.
yeah, exactly. Yep. All right. Well, what do you guys want to get into first? Do you want to do guild member memories and how we all got to know this film, or why I brought it to the guild, or do we want to get into a little bit of the trivia and inner workings and whatnot from IMDb and on the internet? What do we want to talk about?
Just do memories.
Memories?
Let's do memories.
Okay.
Yay,
so,
man.
all right. So I will go first since I brought this one to the guild. So here's the situation. So I kind of painted myself in a corner with this movie. So, I don't know, a week or so ago, I had texted you guys because I was really, really struggling with what movie direction to go in with the next episode. And especially coming off of, I feel, 2 really good episodes that we've had so far, especially the Jackie Kong stuff, which was phenomenal. Shout out to Jackie Kong. I've really wanted to, like, I don't know, I didn't want to, like, just repeat the same thing we had done. You know, because again, Blood Diner was a more obscure cult horror film, and that's great. But I didn't want to go down that path again. I wanted to do something a little more, slightly more mainstream. So then I kind of came up with a handful of movies, and I texted the guys. We don't have to talk about the other movies now in case we ever do them or not, whatever. But
Yeah.
and then I sort of came up with a few things, roads that we can go down with these particular movies. And long story short, we ended up going in this direction. But then once I sat down and watched the movie again, I didn't feel it had as much meat on its bones as I remembered as a younger fellow watching this movie. Like this movie to me, at the time that I originally watched it, this is going to sound absurd to say, but it's the reality. It's my reality. This was my Aliens before I actually, like, experienced Aliens. And Mike, I know that Aliens for you was like at your pinnacle. That you're like, I know you fucking loved that movie in our youth. But to me, this was the movie that I mean, I must have saw it on HBO or wherever it was playing at the time, because I clearly saw it pretty early in life. I saw it at home. But this was the movie that, like, it was ingrained in me at an early age. And to be honest, like, watching it back now, it's like now all the warts are starting to show. Now I see that the story itself is kind of cookie cutter. There's not really a lot of substance to it. It's pretty, pretty run-of-the-mill stuff. Not to say that it's bad. Yeah, it's not to say that it's bad, but it's just not, it doesn't have the gravitas that I remember it having when I was young.
Yeah.
You know?
Didn't have the same impact.
No, it certainly doesn't. Especially now when I watch Aliens back now, that motherfucker still holds up. You know? When I watch The Thing.
Exactly.
When I watch The Thing now, that motherfucker still holds up. This one was like, especially the monster in this one, in Leviathan. It was lacking in what my memories kind of, what my memories remembered. Is that a sentence? Can you use that as a term?
You just did, so
I think so.
But anyway,
Legally, yes.
So on one hand, am I glad that we brought this onto the MacGuffin Guild? Yes, I am. I'm glad that we have an opportunity to talk about this movie that was impactful in my youth. Something with Peter Weller in it that's not RoboCop. Although maybe we'll have Buckaroo Banzai one of these days. That would be nice.
we should.
Yeah. But it didn't offer me as much meat and potatoes as I was hoping for in, like, directions we could go on the show. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. I do have some interesting things we could talk about with how they shot the underwater stuff. I thought was interesting.
Yes.
So we could talk about that a little bit. But it's not like we can really, like, even the special effects, or it's like, you look at the legends that worked on this movie, on this special effects department, And this is, I'm sure they would even tell you with some of their weaker work. Like, and
they must not have had any, maybe either money or time or either one.
Yeah, I think time was certainly an issue, but I also think direction was to the detriment of the final product. Because I think, and again, I think I might have this on my Pat's Points notes, but I think, what's his name, Cosmatos, even said that he just wanted this monster to be a freak show, whereas the effects guys wanted to make it more. A lot of those were just coming off of like the Alien franchise stuff. Like they were coming off of this sleek H.R. Giger inspired shit. And they wanted to go something more down like that line where, yeah, you could take elements of like sea life combined with human and make like a sleek, something that doesn't look as Frankenstein. But he's like, no, I want it to be just a hodgepodge, almost like a Thing kind of thing.
Sure.
Or as I should say, a thing. But anyway. But anyway, I think that direction kind of took the effects in a direction that dude, what is fucking happening right now?
You're on fire tonight with these words, man. You're the one that usually keeps us on track. Like I can't even get that sentence out, and I just hit my microphone. Jesus Christ! All right.
Anyway, that's my history. That's my thought. That was my thought in bringing the film to the Guild. I don't really think I got the payoff I was hoping for, but we'll see. So I want to know, what are your MacGuffin Guild memories, and what do you think of the film having watched it back now? Justin, you go first.
I sometimes think, I think some people do this. Like, if you had the opportunity to go back in time and change one event in your lifetime, that would, like, you only have one, I would go back a week from now and tell you to pick one of those other movies. No, I'm just kidding. No, I liked it. I mean, I didn't like it. I liked watching it. I thought it was still a good pick. I think there's still stuff to talk about. My history, though, I was watching it, and I'm not even sure if I've ever even seen it before. I thought I did.
Oh, wow.
And some of the scenes look familiar, but I had no idea what was going to happen at the end. I didn't remember half the people being in it, like Richard Crenna. I mean, I knew Ernie Hudson was, because we actually joked around years and years ago about like us having the same name as that character, because you even photoshopped me and Ernie Hudson next to each other.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and I think that's all I know about it. But I don't like I said, if I did watch it, it was probably like a similar thing, like it was on TV or something. I watched it, and so this is my first time front to back watching it. So but it was, I don't know, it was fun.
We'll get more into when you're rating it. I want to dig a little more into what you left with, if anything. But anyway, Mike, what's your history?
Like you, Pat, I saw it when I was fairly young. I don't think I was quite as young as you. I may have been like early teens. 12, 13, 14 maybe, somewhere in that range when I first saw it. It's one of those ones I rented from the video store, which listeners have heard me talk about before. And I know it's one that I rented multiple times. I do remember liking it, like you said, I do remember liking it as a kid. I still like it.
Yeah.
I've watched it here and there through the years. I've bought it on different like video formats. In fact, it actually recently came out in 4K, and I bought that, and it actually looks gorgeous.
Oh, good.
Looks very good. I was like, nice. Wow, okay, this was shot well. When you see it nice and crisp looking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely a fan of this movie. I'm not going to say it's my favorite movie ever, and some of my love of it is nostalgic.
Yeah.
And I also I love, there's a lot of those alien type influenced movies. I'll be a little kinder. Alien influenced films.
Yeah.
And I like all those movies that were the aquatic ones that came around the Abyss. You know, the Abyss, Deep Star 6. To a lesser extent, Lords of the Deep. That movie's a train. You want to talk about a not good movie, but it's a fun watch.
Yeah.
But it's not good. I actually like that. I like Deep Star 6, and I love The Abyss. I'm actually a huge fan of The Abyss. I saw that in the theater.
Oh, nice.
A lot of people I know, I mean, I'll circle back around to Leviathan, but a lot of people with The Abyss, they kind of poo-poo that one a little bit, and I'm like, wow, I love that movie.
Yeah.
I think that's one of his best movies, in my opinion. I know the filming of it was a goddamn disaster. One thing after another. It was a grueling film shoot, but I think the finished product is brilliant.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Leviathan, you know, all those movies and that I just mentioned, I'm a fan of all those. It's something about the whole underwater. I'm a sucker for those types and anything set in space.
Yeah.
Any movie where there's people on a spaceship or a space station, I'll watch it.
Yeah,
I don't
me
care
too.
what it is.
Yeah.
It's just a thing with me. So I think this is one of the better ones of that type of underwater one.
Yeah. Yeah.
In my opinion. So yeah, that's my history with it.
All right. So let's touch on a few just quick trivia things. So as I hinted at, there are very few scenes in the film that were actually shot underwater. As production went for the dry for wet look, with most of the scenes inside the shack taking place on sound stages and a tank measuring 130 feet by 270 feet. So I guess in layman's terms, they shoot the actors on a dry sound stage. They slow them down in post a little bit. And what I thought was interesting, and I wanted to know what they ended up using, I couldn't find it. But if you watch the movie, you can see particles kind of floating around. Does anybody know what they used? I saw one thing that says what they tried to use, but it ended up not working. But then I couldn't get an answer as to what they did use.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Because they said they tried to use chicken feathers or something.
Correct.
Right? It didn't work.
I saw the chicken feathers, yep. Yeah. And they said that chicken feathers were used at one point of shooting the underwater sequences to suggest things that were floating around in the water. According to Alec Thompson, this did not work because the feathers were floating side to side instead of up and down, and the idea had to be scrapped altogether. So I don't know what they did use, but whatever they used, I thought worked brilliantly because
works.
You could see that shit just sort of floating there, and it gave you the impression that you didn't even think twice about it. Like it felt underwater. So I thought they did an exceptional job with that. Okay, so here's a list. Mike, you mentioned a bunch of these, but here's what I have on my list here. Actually, I think you mentioned all of them but one. This is one of 6 underwater-themed science fiction monster movies released around 1989-1990. So we have Leviathan, we have The Abyss, 1989. We have Deep Star 6, 1989. We have The Evil Below, 1989. We have The Rift, 1990. And we have Lords of the Deep, 1989. So
there's 2 I didn't mention.
Crazy, yeah. Oh, yeah, I guess The Rift and The Evil Below.
I've seen The Rift. I've never seen The Evil Below. So only one of those I haven't seen.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I told you I like those kind of movies.
That's pretty amazing that they just came out in a clump like that. Just real quick, just wanted to mention that Jerry Goldsmith did the score. And that dude's done a shit ton.
Why don't you name every single film he's done?
God damn. Well, there's
in alphabetical order.
There's like 300 of them. There's over 300 of them.
All right, we got time.
Here, let me just go back. Let me just go back to like the late 70s, early 80s.
Start with all the ones that start in the key of A.
And
then B.
Let's see here. Let's go to. All right, I'm starting in 1979. Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Be derailed.
He did Poltergeist. He did First Blood. He did Psycho 2, Twilight Zone the movie, Gremlins, Supergirl, Rambo First Blood Part 2, Inner Space, Rambo 3, Wall Street, The Burbs, Leviathan, Warlock, Total Recall, Gremlins 2, Sleeping with the Enemy, Wayne's World, The Vanishing. That's The Vanishing 1993.
Okay.
Speed.
Not Sporloose?
The Shadow. Yeah, no, not that one. Congo, Babe. Yeah, he's done a shit ton. I could go on and on. Air Force One. Anyway, he's done a shit ton. But, and to be honest with you, I think his score in this movie is quite forgettable. I can't remember a single note of anything from the score.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, it's not a memorable score.
There's definitely one memorable part of the score towards the end, so I don't want to jump ahead too far, but
Wait, what's... we could talk about it now. What, is it spoilers? Spoilers?
Okay. It's spoilers, yeah.
Okay, spoilers ahead. So be warned.
Okay, spoilers
There be
ahead. You've been
spoilers
warned.
ahead.
Yeah. So at the end, when they go, they pop out of the suits and everything, and you think they're safe. And it's the three of them.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, they're safe. And then, like, the last monster comes up and gets Ernie Hudson, also known as Justin Jones, and, like, kills him. Rapidly, soon after that, as they escape, the happy music starts playing. Like, oh, no, everything's okay. Everything's fine. And it was so poor. Like, Sarah and I were watching that, and she even said something. I was like, yeah, that was terrible timing. Yeah. He just gets like he makes it, and like at the time we're rooting for him into most. I don't know. He's one of the most likable characters in there,
Yeah.
and he just gets like killed. Like it makes it all the way to the end.
Yeah.
No waves, gets
But-
killed, and then they're like, all right, cue the happy music. Yeah,
But the beauty of it is he probably wasn't even fully dead yet, and the happy music starts. So like,
yeah, I know.
his dying body's got to be like, what the fuck, man?
Still had some air in his lungs.
Yeah, no, I'm still good. I guess they'll come back and get me.
I'm not quite dead yet.
Yeah,
I think I'll go for a walk.
not enough room on that one. That's fine. I'll wait.
Yeah, I'll wait for the next one.
I'll wait for the next one.
Heading back to platform POC.
Justin, you need some chicken feathers in your room.
Yeah, that's why should have got some chicken feathers. I should have turned on the ceiling fan and just started throwing
Chicken
chicken feathers into the air. Damn. I'm gonna go in there and cut open one of our down pillows and just
I just start tossing them
throw it
around.
around. Yeah.
So the one thing I just want to bring up on the screen here, just for everybody to see, is how during the course of the film, when it's falsely reported that the crew of 8 is presumed dead,
Yeah.
to me, it's always been a little unnerving that when they're listing all the names, to see Justin Jones on this list of presumed dead.
Yeah.
8 miners are reported dead. All bodies are missing. Killed in the tragedy were Stephen Beck, Elizabeth Williams, Justin Jones, Dr. Glenn Thompson, Tony Rodero, Bridget Ullman, G.B. Cobb, Buzz Parrish.
Martin, you bitch.
Probably not the last time you're gonna see a list like that.
Oh, God. No, don't say that. The other thing I want to play, too, I think is hilarious. When I was looking around on YouTube for, like, little clips of things, I saw this ad pop up. It was like, I guess it was like a behind-the-scenes promotion for the film. But at the end of it, it pops up where you could buy the VHS. The price of that motherfucking VHS was astronomical. So I'll play it right now for the people at home.
You'll never forget the true meaning of fear in this action-packed sci-fi thriller, Leviathan. Now available on video cassette at $89.95 from MGM UA Home Video.
I'm a sucker. I'd still buy it.
That was before the time where everyone had a home movie collection.
Yeah.
It was. I think it was more of a niche market. And then
that was
I remember,
like right on the cusp.
Yeah, because I remember Stacy was looking for Dazed and Confused. I remember she was looking for that on VHS, and she couldn't find it anywhere for under like $100 or something like that.
Damn.
Like around the time it was out, not like years later.
Wow.
And then I think when DVDs started coming out, then like made it more accessible, and more people start, like everyone I know has like a movie, like a home movie collection.
Yeah.
I don't.
$89.95. No, Mike certainly doesn't. $89.95 suggested retail. Price is slightly higher in Canada. Christ almighty. All right. Any final thoughts before we do Pat's points?
Let's see what I got written down. I think the only thing that we didn't talk about that I wrote down was tube worms.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's actually on my points.
Oh, okay. We can skip it then. Go ahead.
No,
no,
that's
points.
Oh, good job. Thank you, Justin. That's good.
Yeah. Just kind of came to me. I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, that's good. All right. So I'm just going to zip through these quickly. Stan Winston Studios, obviously. There's really nothing else to that. It's just that's the point. Tri-Oceanic Mining Corporation. Their mission was extraction of silver and other precious metals. Classification of mission, extremely hazardous. They were in day 87 of a 90-day shift. Again, how shitty is that? That's like the Danny Glover from Lethal Weapon kind of shit, where it's like you're so close to retirement and then some bad shit goes down.
It's Bill Paxton in Aliens.
Yeah.
He's almost done his tour or whatever. Yeah.
It's like getting fired on a Friday afternoon.
I had hinted earlier about the 1 Minute Manager book that the Peter Weller character is reading. But again, they made it very clear that he was not a manager. He was not a captain. He was brought down there as an expert in his field. He was like a rock guy or some shit, a rock scientist. What do they call that?
Geologist.
Geologist.
Yeah.
God, he's a gynecologist.
I do like that. I do like that aspect of the story, that the character development from his perspective of just being some guy thrown into a situation and him having to like step up to these leadership, things. And I think it does a good job of showing him like even like putting himself at risk in order to save other people and all that. So that was cool.
Yeah, dealing with a slightly aloof doctor and a bunch of union guys who are some of which trying to, live by the book and all that shit.
Yeah.
Mike, I'm shocked you don't have this line on a t-shirt. This is from Six Pack, Breaking Brew and Eating Pussy. That seems like a Mike Antonio quote if I've ever seen one.
Again, he is my inner monologue.
He's your totem spirit guide.
Yeah.
I need that on a shirt.
Yes.
Somebody.
Sure, anybody? Get a tattoo.
On my forehead.
Yeah.
My whole head. Now that I shaved my head again.
A big back tattoo, so when you go to the beach, you can horrify entire families.
Yeah. Anybody listening or watching, if you know anybody that can make that as a shirt for me, do it up.
All right.
I'll pay you.
For this being a Stan Winston Studios effects siesta or fiesta.
Siesta?
Siesta.
It's more of a siesta.
All right, was that a Freudian slip? I'm not sure.
I think it
was. Look, that rubber crab jumping out of the suit. Like that's shit that I would have in something if I were making a movie.
It was going
Yeah, yeah,
It looks bad.
yeah.
It's like the spiders in Gates of Hell or whatever the Beyond.
Oh
Or
yeah.
no.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
There's
like some of them are
obviously
real,
fake-
but other ones are just like like,
Yes.
they
Oh
just-
my God.
Someone moving them on strings.
Special effects siesta. God damn it.
It kind of is though, right?
It is.
Oh shit.
That's the perfect description.
Well, I mean, I think the sad part is I feel like if it was like anyone else, they'd be able to get away with it, and people are like, oh yeah, it looks pretty good. But I mean, the
Yeah.
fact that it is like Stan Winston and his crew, like we expect you to perform miracles and walk on water. Yeah.
Pretty underwhelming. Yeah.
So about the six-pack character played by what's his name?
Daniel Stern.
Daniel Stern. Thank you. His character, how he got upset with the Williams character for putting the crab in his bunk, even though he put it in her suit in the first place. I just thought that was just ridiculous.
He can dish it out but can't take it.
Exactly.
Type of guy.
Exactly,
Exactly. So again, I do think maybe that was some good character development there. That you show how thin-skinned he is, even though he's the one.
Yeah.
No,
I definitely like the characters in that movie. I think for the most part they're pretty well defined.
Mm-hmm.
They all have their little things, their little quirks and stuff.
Yeah.
That's one of the high points of the movie.
Yeah, I do agree. I do agree with that. Yeah.
Sarah liked that when he was like sick and they had him like they were monitoring his vitals and it had his name down in the corner. It had his nickname. It just said Six Pack.
Oh, did it?
It didn't say like in the medical office thing. It was like
yeah.
It just said Six Pack on it. Yeah.
That's funny.
I like that his number on his suit. That suits are numbered. His was number 6.
I do wonder, is that where he got the nickname from? Makes you wonder.
Oh,
Maybe.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, we'll never know. Perhaps. Nor will we find out. Because that's how we roll.
I know. Yeah, we're not going to. We could just look. We could pause this, look it up right now, and act like we knew. But we're not even going to do that.
All right, Justin. This is an important part of my Pat's points here. Tube worms. I don't
remember that part.
I don't know. I don't exactly know why I put tube worms on my notes, except that they are real things, and that's again, the ocean is a horrifying place.
The ocean is fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly why I put it on my list. Is because on the 5 things I have on here is because I was like, they're not real. What are you gonna like? And no, they're real. And I was like, well, maybe they're small. No, they said they get to be like 10 feet tall.
Yeah, they get pretty big. I'll put some tube worms up on the. I'll put them up on the screen here for anybody watching on.
Just
YouTube.
be careful when you Google tube worms, though, Pat.
Oh God.
Do an image search.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you know what I always think of when I think of tube worms?
No, I don't want. I don't want to know.
Unrelated to what I just brought up.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, there's an episode of G.I. Joe. I think it's from that either the first or second miniseries before it was a series. They're underwater trying to collect one of these like minerals or elements or something to do. It's for some machine they're using, and they're racing. Cobra's trying to get it. They're trying to get it. They're underwater, and they get attacked by these tube worm things.
Oh no shit.
They don't realize that they
crazy.
are at first. They're like in these they're big tall things, and then all of a sudden the worms come out, and they're all like going after them and wrapping them up and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
I always think of that.
We sort of touched on this earlier. It seems pretty foolish that they'd be allowed to bring foreign personal items from a mysterious Russian ship on board. It just, that seems like, look.
It's for research.
Apparently that 1 Minute Manager book is not working because I would have shut that shit down quick. Get that shit out of here. We already talked about Meg Foster's eyes. They are pretty crazy.
Very unique.
Very unique. There's a good word. They're not okay, let me be clear. They're not crazy eyes. Their crazy eyes are very different.
No. They're striking.
They're strikingly unique
Striking,
eyes.
that's a good word, yeah.
Yeah, we talked about Amanda Pays on Max Headroom. Yeah, so we talked about the Thing-esque practical effects. We talked about there was one point when they're gathering tools like the chainsaw and the flamethrower. There's definitely some Sam Raimi-esque camera work during that scene.
Oh
yeah.
Definitely looked like Ash getting his chainsaw on and all that shit.
Gearing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty groovy.
Groovy.
Oh yeah. So the one thing. So remember when the three characters do get to the surface of the ocean? Spoilers. And then all of a sudden the sharks show up very quickly.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice that when they would cut to the footage of the sharks, if you look closely, you can see the sea floor in that shark footage. So clearly that footage of the
Oh, really?
yeah, the footage of it's very quick. You got to really look for it. But the footage of the sharks were shot in a much shallower body of water.
Shallower, yeah.
And then they just
wow.
cut it
I
in.
bet
So.
that'll probably be super noticeable in 4K. I should watch it again.
Maybe, yeah. Unless they cropped
I
it
did
out.
not notice it.
Maybe they cropped it out a little bit, because they probably could.
Yeah, maybe.
But in the version I watched, if you look closely, you can see some flashes of the sea floor. So it was split between U.S. and Rome. And apparently in Rome, it was shot in the same studio where Adventures of Baron Munchausen had been previously filmed.
Oh, cool.
And they some of the effects guys talked about how there were like odd Terry Gilliam-esque things just around, things that popped up in that movie.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Tom Woodruff Jr., who obviously was in the suit of the Leviathan monster. That guy has a history of being in suits. Do you guys know any of the other roles he's played? You want to shout him out?
Yeah, aliens.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he was a alien.
Not Alien.
Yeah, Aliens. I believe Alien 3, Alien Resurrection. He played Goro in Mortal Kombat. He did
okay.
He did the Graboids in Tremors.
Nice.
I knew that.
He was Pumpkinhead.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good one.
He played the Gill
Also
Man.
Stan Winston Studios.
Yeah, he played the Gill Man in Monster Squad.
Oh, okay.
But Tom Woodruff Jr. says that this is the most uncomfortable suit he's ever worn. He says it was like wearing a parade float. It just sounded like an awful experience. In fact, you'll notice the way the movie's cut, it's like you see the monster there, and then they cut away from it, and then the monster mysteriously moves or then pops out from behind a pipe or something. There was no movement of the actual monster,
Yeah.
Yeah. It honestly wasn't until the end of the movie I really understood what I was looking at every time they showed the monster.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it is. It's very you get such little snippets of it.
Yeah.
Which sometimes that works, sometimes not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have anything in your notes in the Pat's points about the sabotage? attempt?
No. Go on.
Okay. So I thought it was kind of ridiculous. I thought it was noble that the doctor was trying to like sabotage the station, a la most of these like things were like, oh, this thing can't escape. Mm-hmm. So he like sends off the pod so no one can get out, and they're like, this thing can't escape. Mm-hmm. Which I think kind of makes sense in like an alien movie or something where you're out in space and it's like infinite, like whatever. But like these creatures were specifically designed to be like merfolk. Like they're designed to like live in the water. So it's like we have to destroy this thing so they can. Oh shit! There they go. Like they just swim off. Like you know what I mean? Like it's not like they're confined to the research center. They could just like leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And actually, I think if anything, sending off the pods will alert safety crew or like the crews to come get the people. Yeah. Which then they could just hop on the pods and get people. So it was like it seemed like a really backwards way of doing things.
the better bet almost would have been to just sacrifice yourselves and just puncture the hull of the station and just have it all just implode in on itself and just take everything out.
Yeah.
That would almost be the more wise decision.
I almost kind of think that the best option, because you're already screwed no matter what you do, is just like get in the pods, go to the top, let them rescue you, and be like, hey, get the word out there now. This is exactly what's going on, and these things are out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even so that people can prepare.
Let somebody else deal with it. Yeah.
Yeah, but then here's what happened. And look, we can talk about the end of the movie here in a second. But it seemed everybody was pretty chill when it was all said and done. Like it was pretty chill at the end there. But we'll talk about that momentarily. So
it was a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just sit on that for a second. We're gonna get right back to that. But a couple more things. So $25 million budget. And it ended up grossing $15.7 million worldwide.
Oops.
So clearly lost some money. Tom Woodruff Jr. told a story about Stan Winston, which I wanted to share, because I think anybody who knows film has an appreciation for Stan Winston. Justin, have you seen this story?
No.
You shake your head? Okay. So we all have an appreciation for Stan Winston. The man's name alone is synonymous with legendary effects, practical effects in film. And,
Sure.
So
that we all grew up with too. So
that we grew up with.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
yeah.
But one thing that's always cool, it's cool when you hear a story that so clearly Stan Winston is great at his craft, but for all we know, he could be a piece of shit human being, you know? So it's always nice to hear stories that convey the opposite, that, oh, he is a really good guy. So I heard this story. I thought it was worth sharing. He's not a piece of shit.
Sorry, I was just thinking of the Peter Weller Oreo story.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa, what's an Oreo?
Yeah, this has nothing to do with Oreos. So this is what Tom Woodruff Jr. talked about. Tom Woodruff Jr. and Alec Gillis, who were two special effects guys that worked at Stan Winston Studio prior to and through the making of Leviathan. They ended up leaving for their own career ventures, okay? First, I believe they wanted to either write and make a film, but then because I guess the film didn't quite come to fruition, then they ended up making their own studio, their own effects studio. Instead of going back to Stan Winston, the two of them just started their own thing. And they ended up starting Amalgamated Dynamics in 1988. So around the same time that this movie came out or was being made. But what Tom Woodruff Jr. talked about was that after they had left Stan Winston and started their own competitor studio, Stan Winston continued to send work their way. So whenever work would come in that either Stan Winston wasn't, for whatever reason they couldn't take on or whatever, he was feeding them work, including two notable things. Death Becomes Her, which ended up winning Tom Woodruff and Alec Gillis an Oscar for their work on that movie. And then Alien 3 was another one that he sent their way. So
we literally just watched Death Becomes Her the other day.
Yeah.
Because it was like it was on one of his streaming channels. We just had something on the background and Death Becomes Her came on like right after it. And we actually commented on how well the special effects still hold up to this day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that movie.
We watched that one recently as well because we've been watching a bunch of the stuff we grew up with our daughter who's 10, almost 11. And that was one we watched and she loved it. But I thought that was cool as shit to hear that, for whatever reason, I don't know what his motivation was. I didn't get to hear Stan Winston's side of it, but the way that Tom Woodruff was talking about it, you could tell he appreciated the human being of Stan Winston and how he, even though that they were competitors to him at that point, he still sort of looked out for them and fed them work and gave them opportunities from afar. I thought that was just great to hear.
That's awesome.
So, but then even
Paying it forward.
even Alien 3, which again is work that Stan Winston sent their way. They ended up getting a nomination on that one. They didn't win, but they still got nominated. So they got all these phenomenal opportunities that, according to Tom Woodruff, were direct result of Stan Winston himself. And then
pretty impressive.
Yeah, so that's all of my points. So I guess do we, unless there's anything we yes. We wanted to, before we get to our ratings and wrap up, let's talk about the ending of this movie. So definite spoilers at this point. The end of the movie, the three of them get up to the surface. So it's Peter Weller, it's Amanda Pays, and it's Justin Jones. Get to the surface of the ocean. All right. Luckily, the helicopter, they fend off the sharks. The helicopters happen to see the flare. The second flare they fire off, the helicopters come in to get him. Ernie Hudson, unfortunately, gets mauled at that point. The relief, happy music kicks in immediately. They get on the helicopter. They get to the, whatever you would call it, it wasn't another ship, right? It was more like what do you call that?
Like an oil rig or something?
Like a rig.
Weird.
It was like a rig
kinda...
in the middle of some kind of rig. So they get brought back to this rig. And on the rig, the Peter Weller and Amanda Pays characters see the Meg Foster character. So again, this was the woman that the whole time was misleading them, lying to them, keeping them as fucking fish bait. And so the climax of the film is pretty much Peter Weller just punching her in the face, right?
Slugs her.
And then the credits roll. Okay? So there's a couple things that seem incomplete about that. Now, sure, I think it's great that he gets the payoff of punching her in the face. But even still, he has his arms around the Amanda Pays character, almost hinting that they're just going to go off and get married. But a couple things seem unaddressed. One, his entire crew that he was overseeing died horrific deaths, okay? And they don't seem too overly concerned about that. But then two, this creature is now fucking out there. If that were me, I'd be like, yo, we are not okay.
Yeah.
This thing is out there now. We need to address this, man. We got some shit going on. It just felt a little incomplete.
Unless he's like, shit, I'm never stepping foot in the water again. I'm good.
Yeah, we're good.
Let them deal with it.
Because there's multiples of them, right? Because he blows the one up at the end. Remember, he throws the explosion.
Is there more? I don't. Well, is that clear? I don't know.
Well, he does blow it up. Now that you mention it, but it also, they hinted earlier that all it takes is a piece of it to live on.
Yeah.
You know, because
that's a good point. Yeah, so if you blow it up, big deal.
Yeah, a portion of one of their tentacles from earlier on ended up becoming the big monster that came out of the sea. So
that's right. Yeah.
So they better be damn sure that thing got incinerated, and I don't know that it did.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Anyway, something just felt a little like there wasn't enough.
Closure.
Yeah, what's the term I'm looking for?
The happy music was playing, so everything's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the happy music played. You're good.
I don't know. I guess I just expected to see a little more like high intensity. He needed to like He needed to like kind of like send the message that like there's some really really bad shit going on. Like all my people just got wiped out, and there's probably still something out there. But anyway, let's rate this thing. I would like to go last. Do either one of you guys have a preference of going first, or should I just flip a coin?
I'll go
Justin.
second.
Okay, Justin. All right,
So-
Mike. You go first.
I'm going first.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, like we've already discussed our likes and dislikes of this movie. We all kind of agree it's not our favorite. But I'm still. I still have a nostalgia factor for this one. Like I said, I've rented it a bunch of times. I've seen it a whole bunch of times. I'm still gonna give it a solid 6. I'll give it a 6.
Okay. Seems fair. That seems very fair, actually. Justin, what do you think?
I like the cast. Despite it not being their best work, I do like some of the effects, the creature effects and stuff. I like the set designs. I don't have the nostalgia factor. I thought the story was not very original. I didn't think a lot of the dialogue was too terribly original, except for Ernie Hudson's. I did like his lines.
Bitch, we still here.
What is it?
Bitch, we're
Chugging
still
beer
here.
and eating pussy? What is
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Chugging brews?
No, it was
Chugging brews and eating pussy?
breaking brews and eating pussy.
Breaking Brews, that's it. Yeah.
Breaking brews and chugging pussy. Chugging
No.
pussy.
No, not
Right? Chugging pussy?
Sure. Why not?
Yeah, Mike Pussy Chugger Antonio. Oh God. Anyway,
Oh man,
All
I
right.
chugged that pussy.
Oh, God.
all right, Justin, go on.
Taking a pussy chugging. I'd say probably like 5.2.
5.2.
Yeah.
All right. You know what I should have done? I should have looked back. I should have looked back at our Tango and Cash episode to see what I rated that.
I'm gonna rate it the same as that.
Because you kind of had the same
That was a very
feeling toward
very
this one as
sim-
that one.
Yeah, same experience. Where the movie that I
Yeah.
remember as a child, as a young human being, and the movie that I see now through 43-year-old eyes, it's like, yeah, it's like night and day. And
I had the same experience with Caligula.
really, you still couldn't find joy in that?
Let's go find out.
I
It wasn't
find,
the same
I
as
find
when I
lots.
saw it as a child. Yeah.
I still find lots of joy in that
I
movie.
bet you do, yeah.
I do. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Justin is kind of on the right track with this one. I might go right down the middle with this and just give it a 5 because they're still look again. I agree with the cast. I think is great, and to be honest with you, the cast almost makes the potential. Well, the cast makes the final product that much more painful because what that cast is capable of is so much greater than what we ended up with, and
Sure.
but I still appreciate the cast. Yeah, you know, I mean, definitely this is like the reverse nostalgia factor, though. It's like the nostalgia disappointment, and
Yeah.
yeah, I think I'm just gonna go right down the middle, give it a 5, and I think that is. Considering the elements of the nostalgia factor that still exist in me are definitely playing into that rating. If I were in Justin's shoes and I watched this with no nostalgia factor, it would be sub 5 to me for sure. But again,
still fun,
I don't know.
though.
I don't want to hate on it too much. So, but anyway, let's see what we got here. So, oh, what's that?
While you're doing the math on that, I had the same issue with. I was a huge fan of G.I. Joe, the cartoon, when I was a kid. Going back to the G.I. Joe thing, and I can't go back, and I'm afraid to watch them as an adult because I feel like it'll be awful.
Oh,
and I have
yeah.
such fond memories of the depths and the richness, and like I
Yeah.
just like it blew me away when I was a kid. Like some of the directions they
Sure.
took the storylines in.
Yeah.
Where I feel like if I watch them now as an adult, I'll be like, ugh, it's kind of.
I will tell you this from my personal experience, Justin. I was a like you, huge fan of G.I. Joe and Transformers. I think G.I. Joe holds up better than Transformers.
Okay.
Oh, no
That's
shit.
good to know.
Some of the episodes and the storylines and stuff like that are more interesting than what they did with Transformers.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
You know, a funny...
And I'm a huge Transformers fan.
Yeah. A funny comparison to that is when Marvel revealed that they were going to be coming out with X-Men 97, I went back and started watching some of the original X-Men animated shit. And dude, that did not hold up that well in my eyes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, not in my eyes. Now, X-Men 97 is fucking phenomenal because it has that.
It is really good, yeah.
It is really good.
I haven't seen it.
And I'm going to tell you this, mark my words on this podcast right now, or show, whatever you want to call it. That
Showcast.
yeah, showcast
Dinosaur
on
Radio.
this vlog, that cartoon X-Men 97 is going to win awards. You watch, mark my words.
Okay.
I'm calling it now. Anyway, so our average 5.4, which I think that makes sense. I think that's very
It's pretty
generous.
fair.
Yeah, I think so. All right.
And that's not to say this movie is unwatchable. I think if you haven't seen it and you like this type of film, which you should get the gist of from our conversation, if you're into that type of film, definitely check it out, you know?
Yeah.
Form your own opinion of it. Maybe you'll like it more than us, maybe you'll hate it.
Yeah.
You'll probably hate it.
Probably.
No, I'm just kidding.
Final thoughts. So anyway, that's all I have as far as Leviathan goes. If you guys have any final thoughts, we can shut this thing down. The only thing I do want to say before you guys take the microphone is, again, always a blast to be with you guys, to be doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's I'm glad we're keeping it happening because I think I need this in my life. It's good for the soul, and hopefully people out there are getting some enjoyment. I know that the YouTube stuff seems to be picking up some traction, so I just want to keep this ship a sailing. So,
Hey, share this with your friends. Subscribe if you haven't already. You know, like and subscribe. Leave a comment. We'd love to read what your thoughts are on Leviathan. Let us know.
100%. Please, go below on YouTube or on any of our social medias. Tell us your memories of this or impactful moments, fun things, whatever. Memories with the folks back in the day watching this movie, whatever the case is. We want to hear about it because that's key to all of this, man. A lot of these movies mean something to us more than just like being a piece of art. It's like there's emotional impact and connections, and it wires us differently when it hits us at a certain point in our lives. I want to hear about what emotional connections you have to these movies. So let us know.
Absolutely, yeah.
But
yeah, it's fun bonding over those things. I find like some of the friends I have now are like we bond over things that we like just enjoy talking about.
Yeah.
Which is
Oh, hell
always
yeah.
Just talking.
Yeah.
Talking shit.
Yep.
for sure. All right. Well, I don't have anything else. So if you guys
That's it.
you got all your thoughts out, all right, we can close this one up. So thank you everybody for joining us again on the MacGuffin Guild. You are also a member of this guild, and we appreciate you being here. And like Mike said, find us on all the social medias. We're out there. Just search us, the MacGuffin Guild. We're on TikTok now too. So if you got a TikTok before it gets banned, hop on over. And and we'll see. And give them your information so the Chinese can get a hold of everything before they ban it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Jeez.
but anyway,
Christ.
I kid. Or do I? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe the Chinese do know all our shit. Whatever.
Being the eldest
know.
of the three of us, I have no idea what's going on in the world or on my own platforms.
Yeah, I know.
But keep me posted.
Yeah, will do. Justin will be the only one that doesn't have his identification stolen by the Chinese. So, we'll see.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you guys.
Because I lost it already.
Mike, Justin, always a pleasure. Thank you everybody for watching and listening. And we'll be in touch via the interwebs. Until next time, I'm Pat.
All right.
And we'll talk to you next time. Peace!
I'm going to see you. See?
See you guys.
I raised you better than this.
I haven't got a damn clue about Randy Moore and his fucking Oreos.
Oh, God, that's so funny.